Yes, it is a Jaguar, and indeed it is an SUV. It's called the F-Pace, and it's the very first of its kind from the British brand. So, if you're looking for something other than just another German SUV, this may seem like the most obvious choice. The F-Pace is designed by Callum, a man who has been in charge of many beautiful cars. Now, as you can see, it's got this very long bonnet that amplifies its rear-wheel drive bias and front engine characteristics. Now, this very big grille also is very Jaguar, and that's something that the designers have done deliberately to make sure that you know what kind of car this is. And if you go to the back, you can see these taillights, which they've basically borrowed straight out of the F-Type. And that's a brilliant thing because it's a good looking car. But it's not just the outside that looks good, it's also the interior that really surprised us. It is simple but quite elegant on the inside. You've got this very nice 10-inch infotainment screen, which really helps the ambience of the car, in addition to this 12-inch instrument cluster, which is optional but does look quite nice. However, the best thing about the F-Pace is the amount of room, not just the front seats but also in the back. There is a ton of knee and headroom in the back. It is quite large and substantially bigger than rivals like the Porsche Macan. But the most impressive feature is actually the boot. At 650 litres, it is the best in class. The exterior and the interior styling aside, it's the drivability and the dynamics of the F-Pace that are supposed to set it apart in this segment. So it's time to take it for a drive. There are a dozen different variants of the F-Pace you can get at launch. Now, they range from about $80,000 to $130,000 on road. We're driving the base model today, and that's powered by a 2-litre turbocharged diesel. However, if you want to have a little bit more fun, then I would suggest the 3-litre turbo diesel is the pick of the lot. Of course, there is that supercharged petrol model, but I don't think it really suits the character of the car. However, the claim for this car is that it's very dynamically capable. In fact, so much so that the British brand says it's on par, if not better, than the class benchmark that is the Porsche Macan. Well, I don't really know if I agree with that, because as good as this car is, it does tend to fall over at about 9/10. So you can push it quite hard, but if you go past a certain point, it really does begin to understeer. And that isn't very good considering this is a rear-wheel bias car. I'm not exactly sure what is going on there, but it certainly isn't up to the dynamic capability of its German rival. The other disappointing aspect is the steering, which really is lacking a bit of feel. It's quite surprising considering how good the XE sedan is. In this car though, it kind of feels as though the steering wheel gives very little feedback. It's pretty good for normal driving, but if you want to do a bit of fun and enthusiastic driving, like I'm doing here at the moment, it kind of lacks that bit of communication that you desperately need as you go tight around a hairpin corner. Just doing a U-turn here around this giant cliff here in Montenegro, which is quite scary, I have to say. But I guess the point is that it does actually have very good turning circle, and that's surprising considering the size of this car. And it is quite big. It looks like an X5 from the outside, but it's actually in the class below, so it's about an X3 or a Macan size. But if you get inside, there's just so much room. What I do love about this car is its ride compliance. It's very smooth and not at all jittery. So while you can get this car on 22-inch wheels, and that's usually a recipe for ride disaster, in this case the engineers have managed to somehow make it extremely comfortable while not losing its dynamic ability. It's very quiet inside, it's very elegant. It's not futuristic, it's not trying to be anything that it's not. It's a proper Jaguar. It's simple, it's nice, it does what it's supposed to do, and everything I've touched so far feels really nice and well put together. As Jaguar's first ever SUV, I think the team have done an amazing job. If you prioritize sporty driving over all else, it's kind of hard to recommend this over the Porsche Macan. However, in every other aspect I can think of, it's probably a better car. You get more for your money, it looks quite nice, and you know what? It's not just another Porsche. It's something different. And that's gotta mean something in this day and age. So, while it may not be as dynamically capable as something like a Porsche Macan, the amount of interior room that it offers, as well as the amount of features you get even on the base model, make this a very viable choice in what is otherwise a German-dominated SUV segment.